We open in a blistering hellscape of sand, where desperate locals are drenching the dunes in sweat, locked in a three-way deathmatch against a colossal beast and each other. Dead center of the carnage, our protagonist is bulldozing through the enemy ranks like a living siege engine. Even the Titan is gassing out trying to drop him, while our guy's internal monologue is screaming that his heart is seconds away from detonating. Every breath feels like inhaling razor blades, and he is too far gone to tell if he is soaked in sweat or his own blood. But every nerve ending is firing off a warning this agony is way too visceral for just rendered pixels. A cascade of system alerts floods his vision, unlocking hidden traits. Iron-blooded Lord's heart, weapon master, and dexterity. Hemmed in by a literal army, the grim realization hits. This is not a game anymore. Just as the killing strike lands and the world fades to that dreaded game over screen, snap back to reality. Our MC slumps in his gaming chair, absolutely raging at the devs for this unbalanced trash fire of a game. Meet Park. His parents named him for wisdom, but let's be real, his current lifestyle is a total contradiction of that hope. Since rage quitting his job months ago, his existence has spiraled into full-blown gaming addiction. Barricaded in his room, he has been fixated on this one title for 5 agonizing years. The Pangea login screen flashes its retro tagline, promising to grant a single wish to anyone crazy enough to clear it. That hype pulled in the elite players at first, but the game's sadistic difficulty curve broke their spirits in record time. Now, Park is the last man standing, haunting these dead servers like a ghost in a digital graveyard. He remembers the salty forum threads, players raging about lost loot, getting one-shotted by broken bosses, and sudden party betrayals. Avoiding the overpowered named NPCs was survival 101 because catching their aggro meant permadeath and character deletion, sending you straight back to square one. Park is convinced. The devs built this digital hell just to troll players and ensure nobody ever actually wins. After torching 5 years of progress and losing 8 of the game's 15 legendary artifacts, the guy is completely numb. A mocking system pop-up confirms the wipe, but drops a consolation prize, a mind-blowing 1,600,000 soul points. These points are the refund value of his deleted hero, currency for buying perks on a fresh run. With the talent hard cap sitting at 10,000, Park realizes he has hit whale status. He can basically god mode every skill tree. Usually, he is a magic main, but total burnout takes the wheel. Figuring the game is unbeatable anyway, he decides to just meme the build and actually enjoy the character creator, before uninstalling forever. This cynicism? It comes from a brutal memory 3 months back. His girlfriend of 5 years iced him at a cafe, dropping the line that she needed a guy with a corporate ladder to climb. Not a deadbeat gamer. She walked out, leaving him crushed at that table. Fueled by pure spite, Park rage quit his job and dove headfirst into the hermit life. Channeling that salt, he starts aggressively spamming the random button on the stat screen, burning hundreds of points per click, just for the lulz. Suddenly, boom, he hits a hidden jackpot. A secret mechanic triggers, and a message congratulates him on unlocking the true invite to Pangea. The air in his room suddenly gets heavy and oppressive. A demonic voice booms inside his skull, vowing to scorch every world created by the Demon Lord. Park clutches his head, freaking out. As he blacks out on his keyboard, the monitor pulses with cryptic crimson text about creation, destruction, and the hunt for happiness in Pangea. Next thing he knows, he is eating sand, waking up to the sting of a whip tearing into his back. A slave driver snarls at him to move it, threatening to feed him to the High Dragon as a snack if he slacks off. Shaking, Park scans the horizon and the horror sinks in. He has been literally transported into the game. He stumbles up, blending into a line of broken captives, getting whipped into shape. Looming above them is the High Dragon, a grotesque mountain of scales the size of a kaiju, with a face that looks like it was assembled in a junkyard with pure malice. He pulls up his status window, and his jaw drops. It is completely broken. Strength, stamina, agility, int, magic, everything is at an impossible level 12, smashing the game's hard cap of 10. And his talent list? It scrolls for days. He is S tier in everything: swordsmanship, elemental magic, archery, leadership, plus a stacked deck of hidden traits: weapon master, giant's resistance, gluttony, great sage. But there is a foreboding red alert at the bottom. A Hamia collapse at 6.12%. It signals that as the world crumbles, the wall between reality and the game is fading away. Just as that first perk unlocks at 10%, absolute bedlam explodes across the dunes before he can even grasp his new overpowered status. A blood-curdling scream pierces the air. The Desert Queen's Legion has shattered the truce and launched a blitzkrieg attack. Our protagonist locks eyes with a figure mounted on a colossal beast, instantly clocking her identity: the Snake Princess, Isabella. A main quest window violently assaults his HUD, flashing a single desperate objective: survive. The stakes are absolute failure, means permanent deletion in-game, and a funeral in the real world. Suddenly, A blackened sky of arrows descends, obliterating the slaves beside him instantly. He freezes, paralyzing fear taking hold until his fresh trait, Iron-Blooded Lord's Heart, forcefully activates. The passive skill crushes his panic, replacing terror with an ice-cold acceptance of this nightmare scenario. With supernatural focus, he realizes stagnation is a death sentence and dives for a discarded blade. A hostile soldier rushes him, but our main character weaves through the strike and skewers the guy like a shish kebab. As the body hits the dunes, the hidden weapon master trait roars to life in his notification feed. Another warrior trashes him as slave scum, only for our boy to snag a spear and casually cleave the mocker in two. The weapon feels like an extension of his own arm. He sidesteps an incoming slash with zero effort, practically watching the blade's trajectory painted in glowing neon. A nearby voice screams in pure confusion, baffled that a random slave is throwing hands, while the elite expedition team is already wiping. Meanwhile, his dexterity trait is spamming his vision with rapid-fire notifications. His proficiency is glitching through the roof. Sword and spear mastery smash through level 5 and instantly ding level 6. With the hard cap at 10, he realizes he's casually swinging steel with the prowess of a high tier named Knight. He mentally blesses his broken traits, fully aware his survival is nothing short of a miracle. But, gazing at the 500 hostiles still swarming the field, he genuinely wonders how the hell the system expects him to solo this raid. Cut to a dripping rich throne room where the queen lounges, flanked by royal guards. A terrified messenger drops the bomb. The desert expedition is a total wash. The queen pivots to the snake princess, demanding immediate damage control. If word gets out their city sat on the sidelines, the central continent will roast them alive. The queen commands the princess to mobilize straight to the Coltsman Desert, liquidate every single survivor, and scrub the server of evidence. In return, she vows to finally shatter the princess's curse. The princess snaps up the offer instantly. Back in the kill zone, the snake princess is wiping the floor with everyone in sight. A scout reports that one ridiculously stubborn slave is refusing to die. That slave is our protagonist, who just dinged level 2, triggering a full restore on his health, mana, and stamina. Just before the boss music drops, the princess stomps in and clears the area. Our boy scans her stats immediately. Isabella von Dergen, level 8, debuffed by a nasty desert curse locking her to this zone. Internal panic mode engaged. In a game hard capped at level 10, a level 8 is basically a guildmaster. A direct 1v1 is a guaranteed game over. She strolls up, praising his moves, before flaring her aura to execute him on the spot. Staring down imminent deletion, he remembers he's a hardcore gamer who lives for cheese strats and exploits. Flashing a cocky grin just as she winds up, he drops a bombshell. You want that queen's curse gone, or what? That slams the brakes on her killing spree instantly. She demands his identity. Channeling his inner mystical sage, he claims to be a saint, a star reader capable of navigating her to freedom. The princess is absolutely shook. Internally, he's fist-pumping over this massive bluff. Saints are strictly NPCs, essential for players trying to ascend past the level 10 cap, and only a star's blessing can cleanse her specific debuff. The ultimate punchline? He knows exactly what she needs because he literally designed her character. He ghosted her at the spawn point years ago, leaving her hard stuck with that curse. When she asks for a name, he smoothly drops Randolph. The system locks it in as official. She pauses the execution, threatens him against lying, and orders her squad to treat him like VIP royalty. A massive notification explodes on screen. Survival quest, complete with S tier, beyond perfect results. The constellations of fortune and battle are loving the show, boosting his rewards significantly. He snags a fragment of the broken golden rule, a high dragon soul, and the legendary St. Michael's sword. Our boy collapses into the sand, totally gassed and in disbelief, banking 220 points, and unlocking the prestigious Hall of Fame. A bit later, he's soaking in a luxurious bath, hyping himself up over the shiny new loot. The High Dragon Soul summons a level 5 beast, and St. Michael's sword is a broken early-game weapon, requiring 20 strength. He inspects the Golden Rule fragment, which cryptically mentions syncing reality and the game for 24 hours. His chill session is rudely interrupted by a trio of maids. The maids slide in, offering the full spa treatment, but our boy panics. He awkwardly stammers for just a foot wash, sweat practically flooding the room. Then it hits him. This isn't service, it's a trap. Isabella's maids are testing his saintly purity. One wrong move, he's busted, so he forces a poker face of steel. While ghosting the maids' advances, a holographic nightmare flashes before his eyes. System warning, the Hemia sync rate is crashing at 7.6 to 6%. The wall between the real world and this pixelated hellscape is dissolving. He's staring at the abyss, wondering what happens when that boundary hits zero. He pulls up the Hall of Fame rankings and nearly chokes. Sitting right under his #1 throne is Gracia, and Mint Choco is tasty. His old raiding squad who swore they quit years ago. They didn't just log back in, they got drag and dropped into this nightmare too. But then he sees it, the holy grail, log out button. He ignores the red text screaming that logging out, leaves his avatar defenseless. Whatever, he needs out. He snaps a finger at the door, commanding the maids to get lost, claiming he needs to commune with the stars. When one maid hesitates, citing Princess Isabella's orders, he drops a massive bluff. He warns her that missing this cosmic appointment wipes his holy powers and dooms her mistress. Terrified, the maid stammers a quick apology and bolts. Our boy exhales a hurricane of relief, flips a mental middle finger to this trash game, and smashes that logout button. Eyelids flutter open, familiar ceiling, his real bedroom, but the horror show isn't over. Outside his window, the city is a literal inferno. Monstrous beasts are taking a casual stroll down Main Street. His phone screams with Amber Alerts, flashing reports of carnage across Seoul and Busan. Shaking like a leaf, he peeks through the blinds and locks eyes with a nightmare fuel beast. It stares right into his soul. He dives for cover, hyperventilating, trying to process why the hell dungeon mobs are hosting a battle royale in his neighborhood. Amidst the panic, a heavy clink echoes. A solid gold object rolls out of his pocket. He jolts awake in his gaming chair, brain scrambling to rationalize. He tries to convince himself that Desert Deathmatch was just a vivid, hallucinogenic nap. He dives headfirst into denial, telling himself that isekai scenarios are strictly for webtoons. But then, his eyes snag on something impossible. A small gold pouch, sitting innocently on his desk. Ice water floods his veins. He grabs it heavy, real. He definitely didn't leave this loot drop here before passing out. Need answers. Now. He mashes his keyboard, hunting for the Pangea homepage. Gone. Wiped from existence. Just a generic 404 error staring back. But his digital crisis gets cut short by the sound of blood-curdling screams from the street. He creeps to the window and freezes. Actual monsters are turning his block into an all-you-can-eat buffet. Cops are screaming into their radios, begging for backup that isn't coming. His phone blows up, emergency alerts confirming the apocalypse just went live globally. The firewall between Earth and Pangea didn't just crack, it shattered. And he can't DPS a monster with a mechanical keyboard. Panic mode. He rips open the gold pouch. Inside, the High Dragon Soul and the God-tier Michaela sword. But how do you equip legendary gear without a mouse and keyboard? Before he can spiral, a blue system window materializes. It's the fragment of the broken golden rule, offering a reality game sync. Duration, 24 hours. With beasts at his doorstep, there's no choice. He smashes accept, syncing his pathetic human form with his max-level avatar, Randolph. Meanwhile, on the blood-soaked pavement, a desperate mother sprints, clutching her child. The kid is sobbing, begging to go home. The mom tries to whisper comfort, but a shadow looms above. A massive slab of concrete peels off the skyscraper. In a split second of pure instinct, the mother shoves her child clear and takes the crushing blow herself. A horrified bystander scrambles to them. With her final, ragged breath, the mother grips the stranger's arm, begging her to save the kid and run. The woman nods through tears, grabbing the child, but freezes. A colossal insectoid monster just locked onto her coordinates. She braces for the game over screen. Suddenly, a blur descends from the heavens, one effortless swing. Our boy slices the beast into sashimi. The woman is too stunned to speak, until she spots movement and screams, warning him of the second monster lunging from his blind spot. He doesn't even blink. He doesn't have to. His summon, a 9-headed Hydra nightmare, obliterates the bug like it's swatting a fly. Standing atop his dragon like a god, he calmly tells the woman to get on her feet. She's staring at him, wondering if stress just broke her brain, while the child wails for their lost mother. Ignoring the drama, our boy goes to work, blending the surrounding horde. Like wet tissue paper, the survivors watch, jaws on the floor. But this isn't just a local event. The apocalypse is trending globally. Cities are falling, but amidst the rubble, mysterious, overpowered warriors are spawning in, tanking damage and slicing through monsters like butter. And watching this hero fest on a cracked smartphone screen, safe in his gaming den, is a player named Massacre. He scoffs, rolling his eyes so hard it hurts. He calls them amateurs, burning their precious golden rule fragments in the tutorial phase. Massacre starts connecting the dots. It is the great convergence, two worlds smashing together, and the rule of the wasteland is simple. Whoever stacks the most fragments rules the apocalypse. He scans the fresh survival leaderboards, and his eyes lock on the #1 spot, Randolph. Sitting pretty with a glitch-level score of 220 points. Massacre instantly clocks the name. Randolph isn't just a player, he is a myth. A phantom-tier psycho, the only maniac. Whoever dragged the Demon Realm Grand Expedition all the way to the final boss before finally wiping out. Massacre realizes Randolph must have spawned with his main account's god-tier specs, maxed out talents and all. The guy is basically a walking nuke. Cut to our MC. He is back in the server, lounging in a deluxe desert spa, but his brain is running a marathon connecting the clues. If mobs are breaching reality and players are spawning as their in-game avatars, then his past L's finally add up. Back during his last run at the Grand Expedition, his loyal NPC squad kept stabbing him in the back, and the difficulty spiked to impossible levels. It felt rigged. Spoiler alert, it was rigged. Those weren't bugs, they were other summoned players actively griefing his run, because they wanted the game to keep going forever. Now he knows he is walking around with a giant target painted on his back. Camping offline won't save either world. He needs power, game-breaking power, right now. Hyped on pure adrenaline, he marches back to the Snake Princess. She is all ears, asking if he is done chatting with the cosmos. He hits her with the smooth talk he is ready to lift that curse. But there is a catch, a big one. She has to taxi him straight into the sanctuary. Isabella looks at him like he grew a second head. She calls him certifiably insane for trying to breach a no-fly zone like that. But our boy? He just smirks and plays the stars guided me card. Truth is, he is gaming the system. The second main quest is about unlocking a class, and the absolute best, most broken build in the entire game is hiding inside that shrine. Right on cue, ping. A system window slides into view, officially starting the Obtain class quest. Cut to sunset at the sanctuary, where the Snake Princess is putting on a clinic, shredding the entire security detail in minutes. Watching her turn elite guards into abstract art, our boy is sweating bullets, thanking the devs that this human blender is on his team. Rewind a few hours. That was when he dropped the bomb, asking for the VIP escort into the danger zone. She had stared at him like his brain was buffering, completely shook, that he would want to raid a fortress like that. But he is playing 4D chess here. He knows the meta. To clear the main quest, he needs a class. And he is not settling for basic loot, he is after the hidden star class tucked inside. Thanks to his past life as a top-tier sweat, he is the only player on the server who knows exactly where it is. So he bluffs hard, tells her he needs to grab this hidden star to fix her curse. She tries to argue safety, but he shuts it down. You are royalty, aren't you? He plays the VIP card and hits her with a savage ultimatum. Do this, or rot in the desert forever. Inside, he was screaming. If she called his bluff, he would be a splatter on the wall in 0.5 seconds. But the gamble paid off. Back in the present, he casually announces, touchdown at the holy ground. He points to some creepy underground stairs. The moment they step down, his UI explodes. System notifications everywhere. Welcome to the hidden sanctuary. It dangles a shiny exploration subquest, while screaming in red text that his level 2 trash build is way too weak for this level 8 zone. The air is basically poison soup, full of dark magic, but his giant's resistance trait, it squares up like a bouncer, blocking all the damage. A normal noob would melt instantly, but with the princess on pointman duty, he is untouchable. He swipes away the exploration rewards. Eyes on the prize, the main quest. He grins like a villain, ready to snag the most broken job in the game. Isabella smiles back, all confident, until he pops her bubble. He grabs her shoulder. Yo, wrong way. She points at the bridge ahead. It's a trap, she insists. One step and we get washed away by a deadly downward current. He smirks. Is the big bad assassin scared? She bristles immediately, snapping that she doesn't know the meaning of fear. But he notices she is trembling like a phone on vibrate. He raises a skeptical eyebrow. She panics, backpedaling hard. It's a leg cramp. She insists on a detour. He sighs, embracing the cringe, and crouches down. Hop on. Piggyback time. She practically glitches out. Do you have a death wish? But our boy? He is already moving. He hits her with a reality check about that leg cramp she is definitely faking. The sun is coming up, and once they find those guards sliced into confetti, the clock hits 0. The queen's headhunters are basically inbound already. He cuts to the chase. Carrying her trembling self is the only way to beat the timer. She spirals, stammering a million excuses about how she is untouchable, but eventually swallows her pride and hops on his back. Hang tight. Before she can even process, he sprints off the cliff edge, yeeting them straight into the void. The princess screams bloody murder as they freefall, but our MC's mutation kicks in. His eyes glow, locking onto structures invisible to the naked eye. Thud. He sticks the landing on a transparent staircase floating mid-sky, just casually strolling on thin air. She is absolutely shook. How does a level 2 scrub know a hidden path that she, royalty, had 0 clue about? Plus, the air here is thick with toxic mana, yet this guy isn't even breaking a sweat. Feeling her death grip on his shoulders, he throws a smug smirk over his shoulder. Scared of heights, princess? She snaps at him to zip it, but internally, she is spiraling. How is he so chill around her killer aura? It's not warrior arrogance. It feels cozy, like kicking it with a bestie from way back in the day. When she suspiciously asks if they have crossed paths before, he hits her with a riddle. I know you. You don't know me. Classic. They touch down in a hidden paradise, neon flowers glowing in a lush clearing, totally cloaked by a barrier. But the sightseeing ends fast. Our boy spots the boss fight waiting ahead. A massive guardian golem, red core pulsing in its chest. This thing is high-tier trouble. One hit would delete his low-level character instantly. He turns to his cargo. So, that leg cramp healed miraculously, yet? Another shut up from her, and she launches into action, pure, lethal grace. He watches, starstruck. She tears that stone behemoth apart like it is made of wet paper. Zero effort. He designed her build, but seeing a legit level 8 assassin in 4K resolution, jaw, meat floor. Ding! The system pops up, offering the ultra-rare Golden Maker class on a silver platter, perfectly willing to count her kills as his party XP. It is an S-tier job offer, insanely powerful, but he hits decline instantly, eyes on the real prize. But before the victory lap, a choking purple miasma floods the zone. The princess panics, and a red system alert screams danger. Old King of the Mountain has arrived. Our boy realizes the nameless star's real bouncer, Old King Dramit, just clocked in. The intruder alarm woke the beast. A colossal, nightmare fuel serpent slithers into the light. System goes crazy. Warning. It loves reminding him his level is trash compared to this zone. Recommended level, 10. He is. Not that. The Guardian's pressure is crushing, and the princess shoots our boy a look. Like, are you crazy? She demands to know if he expects her to solo that Godzilla snake. He waves it off like it is nothing. Relax. Looks scary, but he's a big softie. Never hits first. Psych. The universe humbles him immediately. The snake launches a kill shot straight at the princess. She dodges, confused and terrified. Our boy is shook too. Why is the friendly NPC choosing violence today? The Guardian bellows. Defeat me to prove your worth, challenger. I'm not challenging anything, she screams. The snake leaves her on red. You smashed my golem, now you want out? Swing. The unworthy die here. She screams at our boy to stop eating popcorn and actually help. Watching the mess unfold, it clicks. In his last run, he cleared this as a max-level god. Back then, the snake was a polite tour guide. Now that he is a squishy N0B, the Guardian defaults to murder protocol. Princess is fading fast, movements lagging from the toxic mana. She curses herself for trusting this fake saint. She is seconds away from being a snack. Just before the chomp, our boy yells, "Stop, Dramit." Hearing its real name, the beast freezes. Our boy bluffs hard. My master, Wilhelm, is back. The Guardian pauses, then bursts into hysterical laughter. You delusional worm, it roars. Wilhelm was a god among men, a true master, and he died for good in the demon realm. Jaw opens wide, ready to eat our boy alive, but he stays cool. Honor the contract. Freeze frame. The beast looks like it's seen a ghost, totally shook that a puny human knows the forbidden pact. Meanwhile, our MC is internally high-fiving himself. See, the lore runs deep here. Snatch the star, and you instantly own the mountain. No questions asked. It puts a magical leash on the Guardian. If the big guy disobeys, boom, the curse wipes him out. With the game physics still running the show, his encyclopedic brain is basically invincibility mode. Confused, the Guardian barks, "What kind of monster are you?" Our boy just smirks, radiating main character energy, and tells the Titan to show him the goods. He claims the star will decide if he's legit. The monster laughs, warning him that this artifact doesn't do mercy. One wrong move, and he's extra crispy toast. But our guy? Totally unbothered. He stares the beast down. "Scared I'll actually pass the vibe check and become your boss?" He taunts. The Guardian isn't buying it. It agrees to take him to the altar, desperate to get rid of this know-it-all human. It is getting seriously awkward. Figuring the star will fry him anyway, the beast leads the way. Moments later, they hit the destination. The princess's jaw hits the floor. There, glowing menacingly on the pedestal, sits a human skull. Only our MC knows the truth. That's Goddess Leia's face. Her body was fragmented into 32 pieces, the legendary stars, ancient batteries for the next generation. He grabs the bone, and whoosh, a towering inferno explodes upwards. He is engulfed in flames. The princess shrieks, but the Guardian starts celebrating, roaring with glee. "Gotcha, you arrogant pest." But then the fire fades. Our boy is standing there, chill as ice, mentally flipping the monster off. That fire is just an anti-cheat system for bug abusers. Since he beat Dramatica fair and square, using nothing but lore-accurate blackmail, he is greenlit. But here comes the high-stakes play. He remembers a forum rumor. Snagging a star while classless unlocks a broken hidden job. A system ding confirms he just hit the jackpot. Mana converts to Starforce. Boom, new skills. Star Slash and Star Blessing acquired. He is now the Star's inheritor. It is a scaling class that turns him into a god depending on how many shiny skulls he collects. Power up complete. He pivots to Isabella. Casual as ever, he asks what her next move is, now that she is curse-free. Still trembling from the light show, She whispers that she just wants out of this sandbox. She wants her family. He offers to grant that wish, but there is a catch, and it is a big one. 1 year. You work for me. She freezes, weighing the cost. It is dignity versus survival. He steps into her personal space, locking eyes. I am not the queen. I do not play games. He is dead serious. The silence hangs heavy until she finally bends the knee, ditching her pride. Smart girl. Deal sealed. He spins around to face the behemoth, reminding it of the pecking order. He owns the star, so he owns the guardian. Kneel, he commands, asserting total dominance. Suddenly, the UI explodes with notifications. The system is crunching the numbers on his new class. Performance, legendary. He didn't just pass, he shattered the ceiling with a score of 230 points, straight to number 1 on the Hall of Fame. The constellations watching from above are losing their minds. The rewards start piling up as powerful entities lock on to this sudden anomaly. He is on everyone's radar now. Cut to the palace. A scout rushes in, terrified. Isabella breached the sanctuary, and she is with a slave. The queen sees red, screaming for their heads. Bring them to me. Meanwhile, in real life, 3 gamers are chugging lattes and freaking out over the leaderboards. One dude is betting his life that Randolph is actually Phantom, the gaming world's urban legend. That score is mathematically impossible without god-tier game knowledge. Blackshirt argues, Phantom has been MIA for 5 years. If he is back, the forums are gonna crash. Redshirt wants the scoop first, but the blonde shuts him down. We have been hunting this ghost forever. Nothing. Because Phantom wasn't just a player. Until reality and the game started glitching together, they hatch a plan. Bait him out using the newly unlocked secret auction house. It is a classic honeypot. Vets list god-tier loot. For pennies. But the gear is bugged with trackers so they can hunt down the buyers and PK them for everything. Redshirt rolls his eyes. Phantom is a pro. He will not take the bait. But the blonde girl is shaking. Total fangirl mode activated. She grins. Oh, just you watch. Phantom is exactly the type of chaotic battle junkie who'd walk into a trap on purpose, just to feel the adrenaline spike. She is dead set on recruiting him, fully convinced he's some eccentric billionaire or bored nepo baby, in real life, who matches their level of crazy. Meanwhile, the system refreshes the Hall of Fame leaderboard for the class acquisition quest. Our main character is chilling at the summit with 230 points, leaving Gracia and Mihako as tasty, eating his dust. Rotting in 5th place is a player named Massacre, absolutely losing it because only the top 2 get the VIP pass to the secret auction house. Completely gate-kept. But Massacre isn't about complex strategies, he's about simple, bloody problem solving. His logic? If the system won't let him in, he'll just systematically delete every player ranked above him, hijacking their spots by turning the competition into a personal slaughterhouse. Back in the digital wasteland, a notification pops off. Our boy just hit 100% exploration on the hidden sanctuary. Server first. His prize? An epic tier teleportation tome that lets him fast travel to any map he's unlocked. Hauling his royal baggage, our boy starts rambling off coordinates like a glitching GPS unit. While the Snake Princess stares at him in total confusion, he officially dings level 3. Courtesy of his Star Inheritor class and that sweet possession bonus, his stats skyrocket straight into the high 30s. He realizes the grind just got 10 times harder thanks to the stat cap. But honestly, who cares when you just bagged 2 god-tier items, including a shadow cloak for full stealth mode? But the victory lap is cut short. The massive Guardian Dromet roars out a warning. Intruders are breaching the perimeter. Isabella clocks them as the Queen's elite hunters. Knowing they've overstayed, she asks if they should squad up with the giant snake for a raid boss defense. Our boy has a different play. He casually dumps the entire aggro onto the Guardian, leaving the giant beast sweating bullets as its new boss immediately books it in the opposite direction. They bail, leaving the enemy trackers to deal with a very angry raid boss. Isabella questions the logic of abandoning their tank, but our boy explains, those guys are just the scouting party, and if the main army catches them, it's game over. Isabella gets all defensive, thinking he's ditching the snake because she's dead weight. He quickly clarifies that Dromet is literally region-locked to the sanctuary, so they are on their own. Their only extraction point is the warp gate, situated at the edge of the map. Thanks to his star blessing, Isabella's curse status is fully cleansed. She can finally activate it. The only massive snag? The thing has a 12-hour boot-up time. They reach the gate, and Isabella realizes they're sitting ducks in the open sand, with zero cover. Our boy assures her Dromet is buying time, but he needs to go away from keyboard and commune with the stars. He needs to check on reality. He asks if she can keep his vulnerable avatar from getting ganked. She grips her sword, fiercely promising to hold the line. Taking the system's cue, our boy smashes the logout button. He spawns back in his bathtub, the transition from OP demigod to human hitting him like a truck, back in his squishy real-world skin. He checks his phone, relieved to see no apocalypse alerts. The monster invasion hasn't hit the servers of reality yet, but the clock is ticking. Knowing other players are out there, he heads out for recon. First stop, a local cafe, where his ex-girlfriend is currently screaming at her new man over the phone for being a cheapskate. She hangs up, mentally comparing her current broke boyfriend to our boy, wishing he wasn't so financially challenged back then. Then she wouldn't have had to dump him. Right on cue, our boy walks in, and she instantly flips the switch to sweet innocent girl. Acting like he's her loyal puppy, our boy sits down, completely ignoring her Oscar-worthy performance. He tells her to cut the chase because he's booked. She tries to guilt-trip him, claiming she misses their vibe, and deeply regrets the breakup. Our boy looks around and notes she didn't even bother to order him a coffee. He stands up to bail. She absolutely snaps, screaming about how much she missed him. Our boy destroys her ego. He coldly asks if her current boyfriend knows she's out here fishing for a backup plan, kindly suggesting she scrub her couple's photos from social media before trying to scam her ex. He walks out, leaving her seething in pure humiliation. Stepping onto the street, our boy pauses. He is genuinely shook by his own coldness. He realizes his in-game avatar's god complex is bleeding into his real-world psyche. Before he can even digest his insane level up, chaos erupts down the block. A totally unhinged lunatic is dragging a petrified girl by her roots, brandishing a blade and screaming some twisted nonsense about respect. Onlookers freeze in terror as the psycho winds up for the kill stroke, but before that steel can descend, our MC blitzes into the danger zone. Moving with supernatural speed, he clamps a hand straight onto the maniac's face. Terror instantly replaces the attacker's rage. Our hero locks eyes with him, delivering a bone-chilling message. The game is done. The thug screeches, demanding to know who dared interrupt him, thrashing for freedom as the MC's grip crushes down like a vice. You can practically hear the guy's wrist screaming in agony, one heartbeat away from snapping like a dry twig. Internal monologue time, our boy realizes he does not even need to burn a special skill to handle trash like this. His base stats alone have turned him into a living weapon. Deciding he has wasted enough time holding hands, he effortlessly flings the creep aside like a rag doll and pivots to the shaking victim, checking if she is all right. Tears well up in her eyes as a heavy blush paints her cheeks. She stammers, totally overwhelmed and struggling to find words. The MC squints. Wait, he recognizes her. It is the same girl from before. He asks if she has something particular she wants to get off her chest. She panics, denying it instantly, swearing he just looks suspiciously, like someone familiar. But their cringe-worthy reunion gets slashed short when the tossed-aside lunatic tries a desperate cheap shot from the rear, screeching for our hero to drop dead. The girl screams a warning, but our boy just sidesteps the clumsy ambush like he is bored. Smooth as silk, he introduces the guy's face to the concrete. Lights out. The girl just stares, jaw on the floor. Classic timing sirens wail as the cops show up late, demanding our hero head to the station. But the victim jumps in, fiercely defending her savior, explaining she is the one who called in the stalking report in the first place. The officers are not hearing it. They claim assault is assault, and he has got to come in for the interrogation. She points out the massive knife the psycho was waving, but the cops just hide behind their red tape, whining about liability if they let a suspect walk and things go south. Our MC lets out a heavy sigh. He has zero time for this bureaucratic circus. Enough is enough. The woman drops the bomb. She introduces herself as Kim Hannah, a reporter for CK Broadcasting, and firmly suggests they stop harassing a hero, unless they want their incompetence trending on the evening news. The officers freeze, realizing they just stepped on a public relations landmine, and it gets worse. The crowd starts murmuring, clocking the reporter from that viral clip where she saved a kid from a beast. Totally outgunned, the cops cave, agreeing to only haul away the unconscious dirtbag. Drama over. Hannah thanks our main character and slides him her business card. She explains she covers Dimension Warriors, the media's flashy new name for those mysterious monster hunters. The MC chuckles internally. The public thinks they are interdimensional superheroes. Instead of admitting a video game just crashed into reality, Hannah asks for his digits, but before he can speak, a nightmare scenario comes sprinting in. His ex-girlfriend clings to his arm, totally misreading the vibe and loudly making a scene about his safety. Hannah raises a brow, asking if this frantic girl is his partner. Our boy does not hesitate for a split second. He shoves the ex off, shuts that relationship status down cold, and tells the reporter he is fresh out of cards, but he will punch his number right into her phone. The ex stands there, paralyzed by humiliation, as Hannah hands over her device. Checking the contact name, Hannah compliments Park In-young. She casually offers to buy him coffee, or grab a meal tomorrow. The MC accepts the date smoothly, and they split. The ex is left solo, grinding her teeth to dust, fuming that he is still the same loser she dumped. Walking away, the reporter's phone buzzes. A cheerful colleague on the line drops some news. The chief left her a massive assignment before skipping town. She is booked for an exclusive with Gracia, the legendary hero who saved America. Hannah is totally floored, wondering why she got handed an international superstar, but her coworker drops the real bombshell. It turns out that S-tier superhero specifically requested her by name and is jetting all the way to Korea just for this sit-down. Meanwhile, stuck in the digital meat grinder, the Snake Princess is running on fumes after slaughtering a whole swarm of watchers. One surviving enemy tries to pull a power move, demanding she crawl back to Her Majesty and hand over her little pet slave, and they'll call it even. Isabella shuts that down hard, roasting him as a total moron for even suggesting it. The watchers wind up to execute the traitor, but the kill shot is interrupted by a blinding explosion of blue energy. A system notification flashes warp activated, leaving the bad guys blinded and totally confused by the light show. Our MC steps out of the portal like a boss, opening his eyes to the madness. Isabella looks like she's seen a ghost, flooding with relief, and asks if he synced with the star. He gives the nod just as a watcher starts screaming for their heads to roll immediately. Time to test drive the new stats. He tells Isabella that since she watched his back while he was away from keyboard, he's got hers now. A massive golden aura erupts around him. The system pings the arrival of the big guns. Star Inheritor exclusive skill, //. In exactly 41 seconds of pure carnage, he deletes a huge chunk of the enemy army. He stands there in the glowing wreckage, calling this their Liberation Day, and telling Isabella to celebrate. She just stares at him, totally hypnotized by the sheer scale of the Saint's power. The MC turns and gives her one last exit ramp, saying he won't stop her if she wants to go back to her people. She flashes a bright smile, choosing to ride or die with him. Boom. The system chimes in. Isabella's limit curse is officially broken by the star blessing. With the mobs cleared, they warp straight to the central country, dropping right into Arcana. The system hits them with a red flag immediately, labeling Arcana as the golden city of extreme materialism, and basically saying, don't even bother entering if your wallet is empty. The place is aggressively blinged out, and the MC realizes cash is the only language spoken here. He clocks it instantly. They are going to need serious funds just to survive the night. Isabella proudly whips out a bag with 300 gold, acting like she's bankrolling the whole trip. She claims it's enough for a hotel and dinner. The protagonist just looks at her with pure pity. She claps back, noting that in the desert, this stack buys 10 slaves literally 10 times what he cost initially. The MC brutally bursts her bubble, explaining that desert slum prices don't apply in this economy. Isabella starts spiraling, asking how they're supposed to live. The MC just points his thumb behind them and asks why she's stressing when there is literal free money everywhere. She's totally lost, scanning the street for dropped coins. The protagonist smirks, claiming his luck stats are maxed out. Right as his hidden trait, Golden Blessing, goes live. Welcome to Arcana, the Golden City, a neon-soaked playground where money is the absolute law. And the heart of this beast is the massive Hudson Casino, which is exactly where our boy and Isabella are standing. As the protagonist struts toward the entrance, a hulking bouncer walls him off, demanding a 10,000 gold deposit. The Snake Princess's jaw practically hits the pavement. She furiously whispers that, after buying their new drip, they have a pathetic 100 gold left. Our boy waves off her panic, noting the 300 wasn't going to cut it anyway, and they needed to look the part. With the line behind them, roasting them for being broke, our boy calmly slams a piece of collateral on the counter. A tier of the Fairy Queen, an S-tier item that breaks gear limits and prevents item destruction. The bouncer's attitude does a complete 180. He bows deep and fast-tracks them to the VIP room, leaving the haters outside in shock. Inside, Isabella asks what that was. The protagonist casually mentions it's a sanctuary reward worth a cool 1,000,000 gold, assuring her he'll just win it back. Cut to our boy absolutely robbing the place blind at the tables. The crowd goes wild as his stash balloons from 250 gold to over 1.4 million. The protagonist mentally thanks his golden blessing trait, while the dealer starts sweating bullets. Isabella is practically vibrating, screaming that they are rich, but our boy quickly reminds her that he is rich. The party ends when a manager steps in, saying he can take the cash, but he's banned for life. The real issue? Every rando in the joint is leeching off his plays, effectively bleeding the casino dry. Our main man agrees to cash out, but with a catch. He demands a face-to-face with the big boss. The floor manager tries to shut him down, but our boy just cracks a knowing grin, telling the suit to just run the message up the chain, because the owner will definitely clear his schedule. Meanwhile, in a penthouse office, a mysterious figure is analyzing the collateral with a level 8 observer skill. He is completely shook. The tier is strictly carried by Fairy Queen Knights and requires a full elite raid team to drop. So when the manager buzzes in with our protagonist's audacious request, casino mogul Mr. Hudson is actually entertained by the nerve of this kid and invites him up for high tea. Face to face, Hudson sizes him up, noting the guy looks way too frail to have grinded for an item like the tier. Keeping his poker face, the tycoon plays the casual talisman collector card and lowballs him with an offer of 2 million gold. Isabella is internally screaming, but our boy doesn't even flinch, slamming down a counter offer of 20 million. The boss drops the nice guy act, arguing it is basically just crafting scrap. Our MC smoothly claps back, noting that, while he might not care, the man sitting across from him is desperate for it. Taking a calm sip of tea, the protagonist absolutely dismantles Hudson's poker face. He drops the bomb. He knows the owner needs the tier to bypass the level 10 requirement for the city council. A feat a non-combat class like him could never hit legit. And the only reason a suit wants that political juice? To finally get approved by the noble family of his fiancée, Sarah Serengeti. Hudson freezes, totally paralyzed. Our boy accesses his internal game wiki, recalling Serengeti's tragic lore, as the Snow White Knight, who lost her legs to the Demon King, sacrificing herself for Wilhelm. Back in the beta days when Pangaea was just pixels, she gave him a locket with a pic of her secret fiancé, Hudson. That was the glitch moment our boy realized. Updated NPCs were actually trapped real-world players. Cornered and desperate, the boss demands the source of this classified intel. Realizing this stranger holds the keys to the kingdom, our MC smooth talks a lie, claiming the star whispered it to him. He offers the talisman for 0 gold on one condition. Hudson has to spill his real-life story. Our boy knows he is asking for a death wish. In this world, hunter NPCs ruthlessly execute players who break character, making a personal backstory dump equivalent to suicide. Yet, he is 100% sure this lovesick fool will risk it all for his girl. Right on cue, Hudson pulls out a matching photo pendant of Serengeti and takes the deal. He starts his tale, explaining Serengeti was a knight in the legendary Demon Realm expedition, led by the 8 heroes. Our boy cuts him off, completely confused, insisting Wilhelm solo carried that raid. The boss looks at him like he has lost his mind, explaining the history books say the 8 heroes jointly led the charge, but wiped spectacularly because of internal drama. He specifically drops the name Gracia as the second strongest hero. Smash cut to the real world, USA. The legendary hero Gracia is glued to his phone, reading Kim Hana's breaking report about the guy who surfed a monster out of the sky in Seoul. An assistant interrupts, asking why he is hopping a jet to Korea. In the middle of a global crisis, instead of just summoning the reporter here, Gracia shuts her down cold. Staring at a pixelated shot of the MC, he declares he needs eyes on this guy, having a gut feeling this is the exact friend he has been hunting for. Back in the game, when Hudson casually mentions the Snow White Knight was part of that 8 hero squad, our boy freezes up, entirely paralyzed by how broken the lore sounds. He is screaming internally, demanding to know who the hell these 8 heroes are, considering the raid was famously a Wilhelm solo carry. Hudson politely corrects the record, claiming that, while Wilhelm is the poster boy, history remembers the expedition as a joint op that failed hard, strictly due to toxic infighting among those 8 leaders. Our boy is left mind-blown, unable to process this retconned history. Hard cut to the real world, where our boy is violently zoning out, mechanically chewing on a ridiculously expensive steak. He is sitting in a 5-star joint with the reporter, looking absolutely drained. She catches his 1,000-yard stare and nervously asks if the meat is not up to par. The protagonist smoothly waves it off, blaming his zombie mode on a rough night. Internally, he is bitterly ranting that asking for Hudson's backstory resulted in a grown man sobbing his eyes out and lore dumping until sunrise. He was stuck logged in all night, which is exactly why he rolled up 10 minutes late to this thank you meal. The reporter humbly insists that swiping the card for a fancy dinner is the bare minimum after he saved her from getting stabbed. Our boy shrugs off the stalker situation like it's just another Tuesday, claiming he was simply doing the right thing. But she's not buying the humble act. She flashes a killer smile, insisting that kind of intervention screams hero material. That wholesome vibe dies instantly when her eyes widen, locking onto a table directly over his shoulder like she's seen a ghost. She leans in close, dropping her voice to a whisper. That woman burning a hole through the back of his skull? It's the exact same psycho who jumped him the other day. Internal screaming commences. Our MC recognizes the dude sitting with his toxic ex immediately, a blue-haired gym bro with 0 brain cells. This guy radiates pure alpha male podcast energy. You can practically smell the insecurity and protein powder from here. Our protagonist realizes he's seen that punchable mug before it's been plastered all over his ex's social media feed lately. The reporter's voice gets tight as she asks if he wants to bail or swap tables to avoid the awkward drama. He doesn't even flinch. He just slices his steak, coolly dropping that they are ancient history, so he honestly couldn't care less. But Blue Hair decides it's showtime. Feeling the need to flex that fragile ego, he stomps over, making sure the whole restaurant watches. He gets right in our boy's face, aggressively accusing him of stalking his precious girl all the way to their date spot. The insults fly. He calls the MC shameless, pathetic, a total loser who can't let go of the past. Standard bully script. Meanwhile, the ex is in the back, soaking it up with a smug grin. The bully leans in, invading personal space. He drops a straight-up death threat. Follow us again. You're dead. Our boy, stone cold, doesn't blink, doesn't care. But the reporter? She snaps. Bam! Her hands hit the table. She is absolutely not letting this slide. She demands to know who gave him the right to talk to people like that. The bully just sneers, looking her up and down, asking what a rental like her costs by the hour. Treating her like cheap merchandise, he whips out a wad of cash and chucks it right at her chest. Disrespect level, 1,000. He offers to double her fee if she drags her filthy self somewhere else. The reporter's response? Legendary. She winds up and slaps the soul out of his body. Crack! She screams right in his face, branding him a total psycho. Blue Hair loses it. He raises a fist to deck her. But our boy? He doesn't even bother leaving his seat. Just a casual leg extension. The bully trips over the perfectly placed foot like a clumsy toddler and eats the floor, looking completely bewildered. Our MC sighs, announcing that playtime is officially canceled. He casually tells the reporter, "Hey, maybe don't start slap fights," while the bully scrambles to get up, foaming at the mouth. But before the guy can even lift a shoulder thud, our boy plants his shoe right on the side of the dude's head. He grinds the bully's face into the dirty tiles, repeating the warning. The guy is paralyzed, totally stuck. He is terrified. The weight on his head feels superhuman. The ex starts shrieking, telling her boyfriend to get up and stop playing around. She's only worried about the embarrassment. Humiliated, the bully chokes out a pathetic challenge. "Take it outside." Our boy passes. "You started this, buddy." He is not trying to ruin his afternoon with extra cardio. That breaks him. The bully decides to go nuclear. He triggers an artifact. Boom! Flashy combat armor materializes out of thin air, right next to the salad bar. Chaos erupts. Customers scream. Phones come out. They realize this isn't just a jerk, it is a legit dimension warrior. Power tripping hard, the armored goon grabs our MC by the throat and chokeslams him into the floor. The reporter screams his name, terrified, but then she pauses. Something is off. Despite being slammed, our boy is lying there looking bored out of his mind. He casually notes, "Oh, you are a player." But he is confused. How can someone this weak have such a massive ego? Ding! The system activates Great Sage. He peeps the stats, and wow, it is tragic. This guy is a level 4 spearman. For context, leveling in Pangea is a grind. High levels need astronomical amounts of XP, especially for multi-talented players. Meanwhile, our boy's base stats are already sitting at a monstrous 36. He is stacked with talents. He instantly figures out this poser's dirty little secret. The guy is a total coward. He spent the tutorial hiding in a bush and survived on pure, dumb luck. Then he logged out the second the portal opened and never looked back. Before our MC can properly humble him, the ex runs over, begging her boyfriend to bail before the cops show up. The meathead puffs his chest out, warns the MC to stay away from his girl, and struts off like he just won the Super Bowl. The reporter is fuming, wanting to call the police. Our boy just stands up and dusts off his shoulder. He tells her to let it go. Technically, you did slap him first. But the debate gets cut short. The ground lurches. The whole restaurant shakes violently. Screams erupt as a massive earthquake hits the building. A chill runs down our MC's spine. He knows that feeling. Another monster erosion is spawning right on top of them. Concrete explodes upward as massive, grotesque worms screech into the light. The reporter loses it, screaming for everyone to bolt. Our guy slams a hand over her mouth. Quiet. He scans the threats. Database match. Cheat worms. Bottom-tier scavengers. They only munch on corpses. These ugly things are totally passive towards the living unless you poke the bear. So, everyone's safe if they just chill. Easy, right? Enter the blue-haired moron with a hero complex. Desperate to impress his girl, bully rushes in. Slash. He cleaves a worm in two, like it's butter. Dude is tripping on his own hype, screaming he'll wipe the floor with these freaks. The crowd, not knowing any better, starts hyping him up. His ego explodes. Meanwhile, our MC locks eyes with the reporter. Stone cold, serious. Get away from that guy. Now. Like, different zip code away. Just as the bully starts popping off about his win, a crimson fog rolls in, heavy, suffocating. Visibility drops to 0. The bully starts hacking up a lung. He's clueless about the weather shift. Then, the silence breaks. A voice, dripping with malice, whispers right behind his ear. "Who killed my babies?" Ding. A system alert flashes red in our MC's vision. Elite boss detected. The cheat Mamba. Recommended raid size, 20 players. Current party size, 1. Great odds. In the crimson haze, a shadow grins. The boss isn't just watching. It's hijacking the blue-haired meathead's brain. The bully snaps. The worm's toxic blood has him tripping hard, seeing things that aren't there. He spots a coughing civilian but sees a monster, weapon up, screaming for blood. He's totally gone. But before this idiot catches a murder charge, our boy steps in. Whack. He calmly lops the bully's arm right off. The jock hits the deck, shrieking in agony. Our MC? Cool as a cucumber. He hates getting involved, sure, but slaughtering innocent bystanders? Yeah, that's a hard pass. He faces the mist. Come on out. A dark, amused laughter echoes back. The monster digs the ruthlessness. The massive cheat mamba slides into view, eyeing the MC like a 5-star meal. Finally, a real challenge. The boss singles him out. Our boy doesn't even flinch. Lost in the red smog, the reporter whispers his name, blindly grasping for him. Smash cut to combat. It's on. The protagonist is going blow for blow with the beast. Fun fact, the MC actually loves this fog. The zero visibility? That's just perfect cover to swap into his high-tier gear, without the whole restaurant, live streaming it to TikTok. But let's be real, fancy armor doesn't make this a cakewalk. If he hadn't memorized this boss's patterns back in his gaming days, he'd be paced by now. The Mamba is baffled. This human smells weak. His base stats are trash. Yet he's weaving through kill shots like he has the cheat codes. MC tries a quick counter stab, but the Mamba shrugs it off. Cute try, human, but useless. Our guy stays icy. He's counting frames, tracking the rotation. Next up, the blood spray. One drop of that toxic sludge means a nasty debuff. The boss laughs at his fancy footwork. You can run, little mouse, but you can't scratch these scales. MC ignores the noise. Watch me put this blade right between your eyes. Playtime's over. He reveals his ace, the ultra-rare tier of the Fairy Queen. He equips the Hermes boots. Epic tier. The system logs the lore, modeled after the wind god himself. Usually, his stats are too low to wear these kicks, but the tier slashes requirements. By 20%, they lock on. Boom. Massive agility buff. Skill unlocked. Swift. He's not done. He dons Michaela's armor and helmet. Full legendary loadout engaged. System alert. Celestial Dragon set bonus active. Swift skill ready. Glowing with raw power, he mentally apologizes to Hudson. He wasn't planning to burn the priceless item they just haggled over. Sorry, dude. Emergency. He'll fix the deal later. He triggers Swift. Whoosh. He launches forward at god tier speed. The beast is caught lacking, spitting curses while frantically lashing out with that titanic tail. The brutal whip shoves our boy back, but he shrugs off the hit like it's nothing, triggering the Celestial Dragon Armor's defense buff. The Mamba sneers, calling him a sneaky rat for hiding cards up his sleeve. Our MC just locks in. He spots the tells. This is the boss's ult. If he tanks this, it's game over for the snake. The monster screams, spewing a massive, unavoidable tsunami of toxic smog designed to melt him instantly. Right on time, a system alert pings perfect synergy unlocked between the Celestial Dragon Armor and the Swift skill. The Gale ability procs, blasting a hurricane force wind straight through the diner, totally deleting Mamba's lethal cloud into thin air. The monster is shook, staring blankly as its finishing move gets hard countered by a pocket tornado. The narration breaks down the cheat Mamba's fatal glitch. Its attack rotation is stuck on 4 moves: a dodge, a blood spray, needles, and finally the fog. Once it burns that cooldown, the boss enters a stun state, totally frozen before the cycle resets with double the stats. Our guy knows this is his DPS window. Seeing the MC rushing him, the paralyzed beast starts panicking, literally begging for a timeout. Our boy ignores the plea, reminding the beast of the promise he made. He plunges his blade straight through the skull, landing a crit right between the eyes. Dust clears as the massive elite boss hits the floor. System window pops up with the GGs, confirming the cheat Mamba is down with a flawless 100% contribution rate. He loots a shard of the broken golden rule, 10 minutes of active time, 48-hour cooldown. The system updates. Pangea's collapse is now at 9.1%, dropping him a set of lucky dice just as that blinding red fog lifts. Vision clears, and the terrified NPCs peek out from cover. The reporter scans the room frantically and clocks the armored figure. Recognizing her savior from before, she screams his name. Our boy, not vibing with the hero worship, stares silently and triggers his invisibility cloak. He ghosts into thin air. Moments later, he jogs back over, looking fresh in his civilian fit. Acting like a confused bystander, he claims they got split up in the madness. She says she's good, but then she clocks a major detail. There's a fresh smear of monster blood under his nails. He tries to laugh it off, saying some random mob splashed him. She narrows her eyes, destroying his alibi. His street clothes look brand new. So how did only his fingernails get dirty? Plus, she noticed he was way too chill when the monsters burst in. Realizing he's cooked, our boy pivots hard. He fakes pure terror, swearing he was so scared he blacked out. He leans into the self-roast, to act like a total coward. The reporter isn't buying it, she knows he's capping. Narration hits us with a reality check. Days after the First Dimensional War, this second invasion has the public shook. Dimension Warriors warn it's only going to get worse, forcing people to bunker down while the news drags the government for downplaying the apocalypse to save the economy. Meanwhile, in a bougie boardroom, a group of elites gather, reeking of expensive cologne and corruption. This is the Hero Alliance. Seeing the government flop, the leader, Park Tae-won, decides it's time to take over. An analyst pulls up grainy footage of our boy soloing the Mamba. She theorizes this armored guy is the legendary player, Randolph, the same dude who just snatched first place on the leaderboards. A hater at the table argues a level 5 noob couldn't equip epic tier Hermes boots. Tae-won waves off the level cap, betting on a high tier item, and notes that the famous player Phantom ghosted right before Randolph showed up. Tae-won orders his squad to recruit this tank at all costs for the incoming command rift. We cut back to the digital nightmare, where Hudson is spiraling out of control in the shadows. The high-rolling casino tycoon is foaming at the mouth, demanding to know if the MC seriously just incinerated the priceless tear of the Fairy Queen. Our guy hits him with a nonchalant yep. Hudson looks like he's about to stroke out, shrieking that the artifact was his ticket out. But the MC hits him with pure gaslight energy, smoothly clarifying. The deal was to fix his problem, not hand over a specific trinket. Inside, though, the protagonist is sweating bullets, knowing he definitely can't admit he toasted a million gold item just to clutch a 1v1 against a giant snake in real life. He locks in his poker face, claiming he destroyed the item to cure Hudson's condition. It's a total bluff. Hudson is practically bawling, asking how he's supposed to trust him now. Our hero just flashes a wicked grin, promising to give him a reason he can't ignore. Smash cut to the trio, spawning in the absolute worst biome possible, the rancid sewers of Arcana. Hudson is shaking like a leaf behind the Snake Princess, raging about trudging through this filth. The MC breaks it down. They need to drop a fast travel waypoint using his S-tier teleport grimoire. Since mapping the whole city is a weeks-long grind, speedrunning this sewer dungeon is the meta play. Hudson snaps, screaming that trying to clear this zone with a 3-stack is a death wish, since the raid boss demands a full 6-man squad of level 8 sweats. Cue the jump scare. A massive, mutated sewer rat drops from the ceiling. Raid boss alert pops up. Hudson braces for a long fight, but the MC doesn't even reach for his gear. He just calls 10 o'clock. Zero hesitation. Isabella launches forward in a blur of lethal steel. She literally deletes the boss before it can aggro. The MC smirks internally, noting that the mob's speed stat means nothing when your companion has combat hacks that break the game engine. He turns to the stunned casino boss with a flex-worthy smile. He tells the shivering suit to stop doubting when the MC says it's handled. It's handled. Cut to 2 suits looking totally cooked. The captain of the Hero Alliance Guild and his lackey are scrubbing through CCTV footage from the restaurant brawl, but they're getting 0 hits. The captain sighs, realizing the total lack of evidence is spooky enough to make a ghost cry. The rookie suggests grilling the blue-haired punk to see what he witnessed. The captain shuts that down instantly, pointing out that the meathead has totally lost his marbles after getting his arm sliced off. No dice there. Tracking him down? Total snooze fest. The lackey pipes up, suggesting they kick down the doors at CK Broadcasting and grill Kim Hanna for answers. The captain shuts that down fast. That's a hornet's nest you do not want to kick. He reminds the guy about Gracia, the literal strongest player on Earth, who just flew all the way to Korea for one reason, to drop a super exclusive, one-on-one interview with that specific reporter. Cut to Gracia looking all dapper, introducing himself while she gives him the cold shoulder, but he's treating her like royalty, totally unfazed. Back at HQ, the captain is scratching his head, wondering if the legendary American powerhouse caught feelings for her instantly or something. Whatever the tea is, he makes the call. They need to stay 10 miles away from her. Deep down, he's got a hunch this mystery rookie, Randolph, is actually the missing Phantom. But if Gracia is somehow in the mix, the captain knows that ticking him off, even a little bit, means their whole alliance gets wiped off the map. Meanwhile, over in the gritty part of town, the vibe checks are failing. A brutal reality check is going down. A ruthless player looms over another guy who's been beaten to a pulp, just standing there unbothered. The victim spits a mouthful of blood, begging for a reason. He reminds the psycho that Gracia laid down the law, no player killing in the real world, so everyone can prep for the monster waves. The killer? 0 chills given. He delivers a clean slash to the throat, mocking the dying guy to go ahead and cry to Gracia for help now. Ding! A system window pops up. Official announcement. Player Massacre has cracked the rankings and unlocked the secret auction. Massacre grins at the upgrade. He checks the insane numbers on the main quest leaderboard, betting it all that this Randolph character is actually Phantom in disguise. Knowing how Phantom moves, the killer figures his target is going to make a beeline for the next main quest. Grip tightening on his weapon, he vows to camp the quest location and delete him personally. Back with our chaotic trio, the MC is living his best life. He's mentally hyped over their latest loot haul. From nuking that sewer rat, he snagged a mutant monster rat core super toxic stuff that usually twists things into nasty mutations. But thanks to our boy's secret Beast Lord trait, he can use those corrupted souls to power level his High Dragon's evolution safely. Snap back to reality. MC asks Hudson if he handled his business back in the city. The casino boss nods. He liquidated his entire gambling empire. Just like MC said. He admits he'll miss the life, but locking down a future with Serengeti? Totally worth it. Plus, corporate vultures were already circling the carcass anyway. Internally, Hudson is fully buying the MC's Saint Act. He's still shook that Isabella soloed a raid boss, and in awe of the protagonist's 200 IQ tactical calls. He decides to go all in. He is not missing this golden ticket. Our boy smirks. He's mentally high-fiving himself because his personal ATM is finally locked in, meaning his financial problems are history. He turns to Hudson, telling him he can finally focus on grinding to level 10. Hudson's eager now, asking, "Where to, boss?" MC drops the destination, the masterpiece. The spot that's gonna finally make his wish happen, which also coincidentally happens to be the spawn point for Main Quest 3, the Tower of Spirits. Later, the squad pulls up to a generic-looking patch of woods. Hudson squints, looking totally underwhelmed. This is it? He questions if this basic forest is really the legendary spot. MC corrects him. Welcome to the rustling forest, the hidden gateway to the tower. They stop dead in front of a massive, withered tree. The protagonist explains the lore. Spirit trees are supposed to open a portal to the spirit realm. Problem is, this specific tree is toast. Actually, he looks around, the whole forest is rotting away, hasn't spawned a new spirit in ages. Deciding that waiting is for suckers, our boy chooses violence. He draws his blade and hacks right into the dead spirit tree. Hudson freaks out, screaming, "Bro, what are you doing?" asking why the saint is trashing their only way in. Right on cue, a jagged bolt of lightning rips from the tree line, aimed right at Hudson's face. Isabella moves like a blur, parrying the strike at the last second. The attacker steps into the light. Level 9 Hydra, the boss of these woods. He gives props to her reflexes, but he is fuming. He rips into them for chopping a sacred tree after he was chill enough to show mercy, and let them walk through his turf. Suddenly, the bushes shake. Over 50 level 7 forest keepers pop out, surrounding the trio completely. Isabella runs the numbers and yeah, their odds of surviving this? Near zero. She's mentally mapping escape routes, muscles coiled to snatch the MC and bail the second this situation goes nuclear. But our main man? Ice in his veins. He steps into the spotlight, coolly telling the druid to leave the civilians out of this, proudly taking credit for the impromptu lumberjack session. He hits him with the hard truth the forest master never would have shown his face if he hadn't forced his hand. The forest master calls him certifiable and preps the execution order. But our boy stands 10 toes down, asking if the druid's really gonna sit back and watch his domain rot into nothing. Flashing a $1 million grin, he drops a massive offer. Open the gate to the Tower of Spirits, and he'll personally resurrect the dying woodland by flooding it with fresh spiritual energy. The druid scoffs at the absolute cap, arguing that the tower is VIP access for the chosen only, roasting the idea that a random human could survive 5 seconds inside. Internally, our guy agrees. Usually, getting in requires a ridiculous checklist of innate talents, endless quest grinds, and sheer dumb luck to beat the RNG. But that logic only tracks if you're a basic NPC. Dropping the nice guy act, the protagonist commands the dryad to shut his mouth and open the gate. He instantly triggers his hidden trait, channeling his nature affinity, erupting in a massive, soothing green aura that vibes perfectly with the withering trees. Our boy doubles down, declaring he's taking full ownership of the forest's survival. The mob of forest keepers is seeing red, screaming for the intruders to be deleted for disrespecting the sacred grounds. Isabella tenses, calculating exits, but the level 9 high dryad abruptly raises a hand, muting the entire forest instantly. He marches right up to the protagonist, demanding he back up that insane claim. Our boy smirks with absolute confidence, swearing he always keeps it 100 and will definitely bring the juice back to these dead woods. The druid keeps it real, admitting he fully expects the human to flop, casually noting he can always violently unalive him after he messes up. He orders the squad to follow, leading them deep into the decay, until they hit a massive ancient boulder known as the Spirit's Corpse. The druid explains, this rock is the literal key to the dungeon. He drops a grim ultimatum. If the protagonist clutches this up, he gets a fat reward. But if he fails, he's getting turned into premium fertilizer for the trees immediately. The system officially pings, assigning a subquest, return spirit to the forest. The failure conditions? a massive 30-point honor penalty, and a full-scale war with the forest. Our boy suppresses a chuckle, loving how wonderfully dramatic that game over screen sounds. The druid tells them to lock in, and triggers the portal, blinding the zone in a massive flashbang of white light. When the vision clears, Hudson blinks, totally disoriented, asking if they've finally breached the tower. Our boy corrects the panicked casino boss. This is just the lobby. They still need to formally get the green light to enter the actual dungeon. Right on cue, an adorable floating spirit, basically a tiny, glowing orb with anime eyes and a helmet, pops into view. Hudson's capitalist brain instantly reboots, asking if they should bag it for profit. Our boy shuts down the poaching vibe, cooing over how cute the little guy is. The tiny spirit vibes with the nature affinity pulsing from the protagonist's hidden trait and officially gives him the pass to climb. Then it sizes up Hudson and Isabella, asking the MC if these sidekicks are truly people he'd trust with his life. Our boy gives a super non-committal shrug, like I guess so. Satisfied, the spirit grants entry, but drops a massive plot twist. They have to brave the tower's gates completely solo. Isabella confidently promises to be right back, while Hudson completely loses his marbles as his body physically starts pixelating into light. The spirit casually mentions that time hits different inside the tower versus reality, so they can grind without stressing about the outside world. With his squad gone, the system recommends the basic towers, but our boy is staring down a massive, imposing violet door that literally sports a face and two giant arms, clamping itself shut. The narration breaks down the mechanics of the Tower of Spirits. Every climber gets sorted into a specific gate based on their elemental vibe. Isabella naturally snagged the Gate of Wind, while Hudson got shipped to the Gate of Water, with every gate throwing hands perfectly tailored to the climber. But our main character is staring blankly at the screen, totally lost. The game engine is basically glitching out because he built Randolph with an affinity for literally every element. The system's brain is breaking. It has zero clue how to categorize a character this broken. Suddenly, the ancient face on the colossal door snaps its eyes open. It sizes him up, completely shook by his existence. It scans his stats: water and fire, light and darkness. These are total contradictions living in one body. Everything is somehow held together by the void element. But the door decides void is way too basic. It officially rebrands this entrance, the Gate of Chaos. The door drops a heavy warning. This gate has never been cracked open in history. If the chaos inside swallows him, it's game over permanently. He doesn't even blink. Our boy struts past the heavy doors and plunges into the pitch-black corridor. He starts thinking about his 5-year addiction to Pangea. He's the walking encyclopedia of this brutal world. But the game keeps tossing curveballs and uncharted mysteries at him. A genuine grin spreads across his face. He admits at this adrenaline rush, it is exactly why he is obsessed with this nightmare of a game. Since he popped the Gate of Chaos first, he hypes himself up to be the first one to crush it. But his victory speech gets cut short. A figure with flowing white hair and a pitch-black cloak slowly pivots to face him. His heart skips a beat. It's Wilhelm. His own rank 1 masterpiece is standing right there in the flesh. Before his brain can even compute why the ultimate hero is the boss fight, Wilhelm lunges with a lethal strike. He barely sidesteps, death brushing past his nose. Inner panic mode engages. He has to solo the literal strongest entity in the lore. He is sweating bullets, mentally trashing Pangea. He is convinced this garbage game is rigged to be impossible. But after taking a hit from the G-O-A-T, he spots a glitch in the matrix. The fake Wilhelm lands a clean hit on his arm, but instead of slicing the limb off, it just dings his armor. His gamer brain does the math instantly. The trial cloned the look and the terrifying skills, but the stats are heavily nerfed to match his current level. Death anxiety? Gone. It is go time. System alerts spam his vision as his full gear set activates. Celestial dragon armor syncs with the Hermes boots, triggering the Gale synergy. Giant wind wings explode from his back, blindsiding the clone as our boy physically slams the legendary hero backward. The illusion recovers, weaving through attacks, and asking if he is just chasing old glory. Our boy doesn't even waste breath on a reply to that philosophical trash talk. Calling it a cheap bootleg, he palms the fake Wilhelm's skull and rips his head clean off. He chugs a high-tier HP potion, mentally high-fiving Hudson's credit card for funding his hoarding habits. But he can't even catch his breath. The corridor shadows start warping, and an entire platoon of Wilhelm clones spawns from the dark. He gulps, realizing the stakes. If he hadn't packed a warehouse worth of healing items, he would be checking out of this life for good. Cut to the real world. We are in a slick broadcasting studio. The legendary hero, Gracia, is wrapping up an interview, with the reporter gushing over his visit to Korea. Gracia ignores the fluff and cuts to the chase. Cameras are off? Good. He leans in. He has a serious, off-the-record question about that mystery man from her article. The #1 player gets intense, demanding she spill every single microscopic detail about her savior. Don't leave out a single breath. Back in the digital meat grinder, our boy looks like a chewed-up toy. He has butchered at least 100 Wilhelm clones, burning through his entire potion stash. The spawning finally stops. No stairs going up. This has to be the boss room, right? He thinks he won, but a chaos spirit manifests out of thin air. It stares at the bruised druid, looking totally amused. It mocks him for thinking the trial is finished. With a wicked grin, the spirit drops a reality bomb. Those 100 clones? That was just the warm-up. It points to the colossal door at the end of the hall. The punchline? Thousands of buffed illusions are waiting behind it. The spirit laughs, basically telling him to rage quit now, because this stage is explicitly facing a trial designed to be impossible. Our guy hits the entity with the ultimate 1,000-yard stare, zero emotion, total poker face. He completely ghosts the spirit, spinning around and marching straight toward that imposing door without saying a word. The dungeon NPCs lose their cool instantly, dropping the tough guy act. The spirits swarm him, scrambling to block his path, literally begging him to stop. They start throwing insane bribes at his feet, with one screaming promises of a contract equal to a legendary star pact. Another panic spirals, trying to dox the exact coordinates of a one-of-a-kind world-tier equipment drop. A third tries to bait him with a god-tier chaos element skill. Our MC doesn't even break his stride. His pro-gamer brain is running at 1,000,000 miles a minute. He knows the meta. Clearing an elemental gate guarantees a spirit egg of that specific element. And since he's the first human in history to crack the chaos gate, a priceless chaos spirit egg is the minimum payout here. But seeing these spirits sweating bullets and tossing world-class treasures at him just to keep that door shut, that screams one undeniable thing. The loot hiding behind that door is unimaginably more broken than the trash they're offering. The spirit shrieks that he's making a mistake, warning him this is the point of no return. Before the illusionary army can rip him to shreds, our boy finally pauses. Glancing back, he casually admits that soloing thousands of enemies without a single health potion is definitely a massive headache. However, since he just spent hours grinding 100 copies of this exact boss, he has its attack frames permanently burned into his retinas. He coolly tells the baffled spirits he doesn't need healing items. He's about to perfect dodge every single pattern through sheer brute force and muscle memory. Flashing a cocky grin, he points out that since the win condition is just clearing the room, there is zero logical reason to walk away from the loot. The spirits go dead silent, completely floored by his absurd logic. Slowly, they break into massive grins, realizing they actually vibe with this absolute maniac of a human. Our boy kicks the heavy doors open, bracing himself for the boss fight of his life, only to step into a completely silent, peaceful cosmic void, floating with stars and shimmering gold. Ding! A cheerful system window pops up, announcing he's successfully reached the tower's summit and completed Main Quest 3. Our boy blinks in total confusion, wondering where the hell the army went. Suddenly, that adorable little helmet-wearing guide spirit from the entrance pops into existence, hyping up the druid, unofficially conquering the tower, while noting his party members are still fighting for their lives downstairs. The protagonist realizes the ultimate trial was just a massive psychological bluff. The guide confirms it. Chaos spirits are pathological liars. If he'd caved to the fear and taken their shiny bribes, he would have been soft-locked in that hallway forever. Moving past the deception, the guide tells him to extend his hand to claim the ultimate clear reward. Our boy eagerly holds out his palm, fully ready for that legendary chaos spirit egg and perfectly content with the top-tier drop. The system starts the distribution, but then the text glitches. It's not a chaos egg. The system proudly announces, celestial spirit egg obtained. Our boy looks down, his brain completely derailing. Instead of a dark, chaotic artifact, he's holding a ball of pristine white feathers, radiating a blinding, holy golden aura. The absolute veteran of Pangea is left standing in the cosmic room, staring at the egg in pure bewilderment, asking the empty air what on earth he's actually holding. A barrage of system windows explodes into view, interrupting his confusion. It identifies the glowing item as a heavenly spirit egg, a legendary artifact said to exist on the razor's edge between light and darkness. The description explicitly states that only a true celestial can even see or hatch this thing. Our boy's veteran, gamer brain, goes into overdrive. He knows celestials are the mythical race from the heavenly realm, and holding this egg mathematically implies the system now classifies him as one of them. He wonders if this broken reward is directly linked to his mysterious heavenly hidden trait. Hoping for a quick lore dump, he asks the adorable guide spirit if it knows anything about the glowing feather egg. The tiny spirit admits its knowledge is limited but casually drops a massive bombshell. The literal spirit king is currently showing extreme interest in that exact egg. Our boy practically chokes on air. He knows the spirit kings are absolute creator-tier beings in Pangea. If an entity that powerful is staring at his loot, The egg's value is genuinely off the charts. Deciding to figure it out post-hatching, he safely stashes the artifact in his inventory. The system then officially logs his completion of Main Quest 3, cementing his legacy as the first person in history to do it. He doesn't just beat the Chaos Tower, he obliterates the scoreboard, locking in a mind-blowing 240 points. That score triggers a total system meltdown, flooding his HUD with a waterfall of golden notifications because the cosmic VIPs are watching, and they are hyping up their favorite streamer. The Constellation of Fortune, the Constellation of Adventure, and the shadowy big shots from the 100 Stars Temple drop massive endorsements, completely obsessed with his god-tier performance. Since these deities live for the drama, they hack the system logic to buff his payout, letting him snag not one, but 2 legendary items. From a pool of 20, our MC grins, realizing this loot haul is way beyond his wildest gaming fantasies. Cut to the reunion outside the tower. Isabella steps out, flexing a wind spirit egg, while Hudson secures the bag with a water spirit egg. Thanks to some crazy RNG luck, Isabella actually rolled 2 eggs. Total MVP move, she instantly tosses the spare to the Dryads, making good on our boy's vow to save their withering woods. The giants are weeping with gratitude and drop their rarest loot for Isabella, a 1,000-year-old Mandragora root, bursting with pure forest vitality. There is just one catch. This legendary elixir looks like a shriveled, screaming nightmare. Isabella stares at the hideous thing, her face contorting into pure, meme-worthy disgust. The MC just laughs, knowing that eating that gross root is going to make his snake princess OP. Cue the system alert. He unlocks the title Druid's Friend and scores a new fast travel waypoint. The lore text confirms druids are ride-or-die allies, as long as he doesn't accidentally torch their home. He pulls up the Hall of Fame leaderboard, and boom, his alias, Randolph, is sitting pretty at rank 1, knocking the legendary Grazia down to 2nd place. But shattering the point cap also glitched his Guardian Wall skill to level 11. That is a massive quality of life upgrade. Now, his real-world body gets a 30-second invincibility buffer against low-tier mobs while he is logging out, and his avatar stays shielded when he disconnects. He breathes a massive sigh of relief, realizing he has been a total sitting duck in the physical world this whole time. Hudson breaks the mood, practically bowing in gratitude to the MC. With literal dollar signs in his eyes, he announces he is buying a premium spirit incubator the moment they return, ready to power level his way straight to rank 10. But before they can warp home, Isabella insists on a detour. Hudson, who is now a full-blown disciple of the cult of Randolph, blindly agrees to follow the carry anywhere. They hit the waypoint and teleport straight to Knight's Garden, the old turf of Marquis Weiser. The second the map loads, Hudson absolutely loses his composure. He is shaking like a leaf because this is Serengeti's hometown, and he knows his bank account is not fat enough to propose to a queen like her yet. The MC rolls his eyes so hard it hurts, telling the casino boss to quit hyperventilating, because this is not a shopping trip for rings. He just needs to grill Serengeti for some intel. But as they hit the streets, the vibe shifts instantly. The city is a disaster zone, streets crawling with beggars, broken glass everywhere, and the air thick with misery. They reach the town square, dominated by a massive memorial stone. Isabella points to the 500 names etched into the granite and asks the million-dollar question, does he know them? He admits he doesn't know the names, but he knows the tragedy. These were the 500 loyal knights, who marched to their doom with his original character, Wilhelm, on the Grand Expedition. A massive wave of guilt hits him. Back when he was just clicking a mouse, their deaths were just flavor text. But standing here now, watching a grieving mother claw at the stone, screaming curses at Wilhelm's name, and begging the bastard to return her son, it hits different. Suddenly, a thug from the goddess church crashes the morning session, shaking down the locals. The guy demands a mandatory 50 gold donation from the visitors to fund a so-called medical station. Hudson's merchant instincts flare up, pointing out that 50 gold is a month's wages for a civilian. That isn't a donation, it is straight-up robbery. The aggressive collector doubles down, claiming the order came straight from the highly respected Priest Andrew. That name hits the MC like a truck. He knows the game code Priest Andrew is programmed to be a saint, a holy NPC who gives honor-based quests. Seeing this rich city turned into a slum with priests mugging the poor, he realizes the game's original lore has been completely corrupted. Hard cut to a luxurious mansion. We cut straight to the rod at the top, revealing the current state of Marquis Waiter, the territory's so-called ruler. The guy is slumped over his desk, looking like an absolute train wreck. He is wasted, drowning in a sea of empty bottles, when his loyal butler tries to intervene, gently pleading with him to put the drink down. The Marquis snaps, violently launching a glass bottle, straight at the servant's dome, screaming like a maniac for another round. Our main character decides enough is enough, and politely demands a face-to-face with Priest Andrew. The receptionist nervously rubs his neck, trying to cap, claiming the waitlist for treatment is basically infinite. Our boy doesn't even blink, just snaps his fingers at his human ATM. Hudson steps up and casually drops a 50,000 gold donation on the counter. The receptionist's jaw hits the floor. Sensing weakness, the casino boss leans in and whispers that he will double that stack to a cool 100,000 if they get VIP access right now. The worker's moral compass disintegrates instantly. Blinded by the bling, he suddenly starts calling them brother and hustles them straight into the VIP backroom. Priest Andrew welcomes his new whales, gesturing for them to take a seat while nervously bringing up the insane donation amount. Our boy leans back, throwing shade, noting that since this church had no problem shaking down grieving mothers for 50 gold, a regular bribe wouldn't cut the line. Andrew looks like a kicked puppy. He bitterly admits there is zero excuse for his greed, hanging his head in shame. Our boy drops the attitude, genuinely asking how a major relief center in a historically loaded city ended up this broke. Andrew sighs, preparing to drop some heavy lore. He explains that Sister May, that grieving mother from earlier, lost her only son in the legendary Grand Expedition, and she wasn't alone. Tons of elite knights from Knight's Garden got hype on the Night King Wilhelm and marched off to fight the Demon King, never to be seen again. The city lost a massive chunk of its muscle and manpower, but Knight's Garden had deep enough pockets that they could have eventually bounced back financially. The real economic nuke went off when the Lord's daughter, Lady Serengeti, finally returned from that doomed mission. Seeing our boy's poker face, Andrew reveals that Serengeti came back missing both legs and trapped in a permanent, mysterious coma. Marquis Waiter, desperate to save his only child, completely lost his marbles. He burned through the city's treasury, buying trash elixirs and letting scam artists drain his accounts dry. The desperate father even took out a massive loan, putting the entire territory up as collateral. When everything failed, the Marquis mentally shattered, cutting all city funding and leaving this single relief center as the only thing stopping the sick from dying in the gutters. That is exactly why the church is out here fleecing tourists. They desperately need the cash flow just to keep the lights on and keep their patients alive. Processing this tragedy, our boy figures out that Serengeti's coma isn't physical trauma. Andrew confirms it's likely a high-level curse way above his pay grade. The protagonist connects the dots, realizing his broken star's blessing trait is the perfect counter, just like with Isabella. Deciding it's go time, our boy stands up and announces he is heading straight to Marquis Waiter. Andrew panics, warning that the broken lord is in full lockdown mode, and begs for a few days to set up a meeting. Our boy smirks, saying he doesn't have time to waste, and besides, his massive donation is basically a VIP pass. Right on cue, a royal knight busts into the room, announcing that the lord urgently wants to meet the high roller, who just funded the clinic. Our boy chuckles at how predictable these pay-to-win types are, noting that a briefcase full of cash opens every door. As he turns to leave, Andrew calls out, genuinely thanking him not for the gold, but for saving Sister May earlier. Our boy flashes a warm smile and hits Andrew with a good to see you again. The priest is left standing there, completely shook by the familiar vibe. Smash cut to the Marquis' estate, where the Lord of Knight's Garden looks like a walking hangover. Waiter shakes his throbbing head, assuming the kid sitting across from him is just some wandering merchant, or a spoiled trust fund baby. He offers a slurred apology for the sudden invite. Our boy silently analyzes the ruined noble. He remembers when Waiter was a top-tier knight known across the continent, back in his Wilhelm days. He personally helped Serengeti level up into a powerhouse. In sheer gratitude, Waiter swore absolute loyalty, a man defined by his ride-or-die loyalty to Wilhelm, building a legacy as someone who pays back grudges with cold steel, and kindness with absolute devotion. Our MC questions if this guy's noble spirit is as shattered as his broken body. Weiser skips the small talk, admitting his city is dead broke, and looking to cut a deal to squeeze more gold out of his guest. But our boy isn't here to play corporate games. He locks eyes with the Marquis and drops the mic. He's going to cure Serengeti. The Marquis freezes, then cracks into a manic, bitter laugh. He roasts our MC, assuming he's just another clout-chasing grifter trying to cash in on the rumor that the Lord pays out big bucks to anyone who name-drops his daughter. Weiser snaps, demanding the price tag. 300,000? 400,000? The whole damn region? He slams his fist, rattling the heavy oak table, screaming that he's been milked dry by scammers. Totally done with this, he orders his royal knight to gouge out the fraud's eyes and toss him to the curb. Our boy stays ice cold. He calmly replies he doesn't want a single penny. He won't promise a miracle, but he guarantees a real shot at waking her up. Weiser squints his bloodshot eyes, asking why a random stranger would offer a legendary cure for $0. Our boy leans in, voice dripping with command. He clarifies he isn't doing a favor, he's settling a massive debt. Watching the Marquis' confusion spike, the MC drops the nuclear option. He boldly claims to be the official heir of the Night King, Wilhelm's only successor. He demands to see Serengeti right now to ask a question, and in return, he'll save the daughter, who gave up everything for her master. Weiser cracks a dark, twisted smile. He points out that the whole continent is infested with delusional wannabes claiming Wilhelm's legacy, and he's not wasting another second on it. He orders his knights to end our boy and wipe out his crew outside. A fully armored knight charges with a kill shot. Boy casually lifts his porcelain teacup and blocks the massive strike like it's nothing. With terrifying ease, he shoves the knight back, exploding the delicate cup right against the guy's steel chestplate. Unfazed by the chaos he just unleashed, our boy stares down the stunned Marquis. He demands Weiser set up the arena so he can beat the truth into them and prove, once and for all, that he's the real deal. If you're vibing with the story, smash that like button and subscribe. It helps us churn out these videos faster. Done? Sweet, let's dive back in. We cut straight to the Colosseum. In the stands, the casino boss turns to the Snake Princess, totally lost on how they went from a shady medical consult to a gladiatorial deathmatch in 5 minutes flat. Isabella notes the MC has always been a wild card, but even she didn't see this escalation coming. Down in the dirt, our boy scans his opponent. He notices the Royal Knight is rocking a full set of pay-to-win gear, buffed by a high-ranking priest, meaning this guy is geared up for murder. The knight arrogantly gives the MC one last chance to confess the scam and beg for mercy. Our boy shuts him down, reminding the knight to keep his promise and not go crying to the press about his identity. After he gets humiliated, the knight scoffs, swearing on his honor, then lunges to teach this self-proclaimed heir a painful lesson. Our boy effortlessly sidesteps the first swing. He runs the numbers. Despite the losses from the Grand Expedition, these veteran knights still have way better base stats and gear than him right now, so he can't get sloppy. When the knight follows up with a combo, our boy steps inside the guard and blocks the heavy sword handle with his forehead. The knight is shook, realizing this isn't just a con artist, but a total psycho. Up in the VIP box, the Marquis and his guard Lucas are glued to the fight. Lucas admits the challenger's moves are legit, but the Marquis bitterly writes it off as cheap parlor tricks. The Lord thinks about the endless line of fools, claiming to be Wilhelm's disciple just to steal some valor. Having fought beside the Night King, the Marquis knows Wilhelm's skills were god tier, something no human can mimic perfectly. Even witnessing a microscopic shard of that legendary art, the Lord refuses to buy into the hype. Dirt side, the Royal Knight finally gives props where they're due. He admits the kid's got mad skills and offers to snag a full pardon from the big boss. But there's a catch. Our boy has to surrender right now and join his personal squad. Our boy claps back instantly, roasting the knight for acting tough when he's just a level 3 scrub hiding behind pay-to-win armor. The knight gets super defensive, stuttering that the Lord ordered him to gear up, though he admits rocking such overpowered equipment feels totally cringe and dishonorable. Our boy lets out a heavy sigh, quipping that it must be nice to have top-tier loot, right before launching a savage kick, straight to the knight's jaw. Deciding playtime is officially over, the protagonist drops a bombshell announcement. He's about to teach a masterclass on the true power of items. A system window pings as he dual-wields 2 ultimate iron swords out of nowhere. Total confusion ripples through the arena. The casino boss and the Marquis are left scratching their heads, wondering where he just pulled those blades from. Our boy wastes no time, going on the offensive and driving the knight back with a furious barrage. The Royal Guard desperately tries to read the attack patterns, calculating that while the twin swords are crazy fast, they're way too light to deal critical damage. He smugly figures that as long as he guards his vitals, those low-tier weapons won't even dent his heavy plating. But that confidence gets deleted instantly when our boy abruptly switches up his attack rhythm, shattering the knight's guard and slamming him into the dirt. Towering over his fallen opponent, our boy drops the mic, declaring he's about to unleash the real Night King swordsmanship. The scene cuts to a flashback, rewinding to the moment our boy cleared the Tower of Spirits. A massive loot table had popped up on his screen, filled with god-tier gear ranging from demon-slaying blades to annihilation gauntlets. But his eyes zoomed in on the ultimate iron sword. The description claimed it was just a basic iron weapon, honed to transcendent perfection by an eccentric star, granting a strength buff and a free level in sword proficiency. But the real kicker was a broken set effect that multiplied stat bonuses if the user equipped multiple items, bearing the ultimate title. Since he was already vibing with his celestial dragon armor, our boy wondered if the system would let him cheese the rewards. He greedily selected the ultimate iron sword twice, and the system actually let him do it. The real magic happened when his hidden traits synchronized, stacking his weapon master trait, his dexterity stat, the base item effect, and that duplicated set bonus. His sword proficiency glitch stacked straight to level 10, hitting that absolute max cap, triggered a hidden condition in his star inheritor class, letting him download the memories of his possessed star directly and flawlessly replicate a fragment of Night King Wilhelm's legendary moveset. He was totally lost in the lore drop back then, But in this moment, it's the absolute meta build. Snap back to reality, the knight is terrified. The momentum has pulled a complete 180. He tries to kite backwards, but the insanely fast strikes have his feet glued to the floor. When he tries to tank through the assault, the sheer pressure of the protagonist's technique wrecks his balance. The royal guard feels like the entire arena is suffocating under his opponent's pressure, questioning if this kind of broken swordsmanship is even legal in this world. The narration drops a truth bomb. People turn into total NPCs when they face something way above their pay grade. All they can do is stare in stunned silence. That's the vibe in the arena right now. From the Snake Princess and the Casino Boss to the Marquis and the Shaking Knight, our boy unleashes Wilhelm's signature ult, the Heaven and Earth Revolution, in a blinding flash of pure dominance. He smashes through the Royal Guard's defense, pinning the guy's neck to the floorboards. The totally humiliated knight taps out immediately. Our boy glances up at the VIP box, shouting straight at the Marquis, asking if he needs to prove anything else. The shook lord turns to his guard, Lucas, voice trembling with pure reverence. He orders his squad to escort the guest up with VIP treatment, officially recognizing him as the legitimate heir to Supreme Knight, King Wilhelm. Down in the pit, our boy flashes a massive, self-satisfied grin. The scene cuts straight to the heavy vibes of Serengeti's bedroom. The Marquis looks completely broken as he drops the tragic backstory, explaining that his daughter has been stuck in this coma ever since she got back from the Grand Expedition. The guy bankrupted his entire territory, chasing miracles, blowing the treasury on legendary elixirs and elite healers, even getting on his knees to beg a saint for divine intervention. But the curse was simply too OP to dispel. Our MC silently procs his great sage trait, confirming the absolute worst-case scenario. Serengeti isn't just sick, she is tanking a direct hex from the Demon King himself. Naturally, standard holy magic gets completely nerfed against it. However, the protagonist runs the numbers. A raw, unfiltered injection of star power might just overwrite the dark code. He warns the desperate lord not to get his hopes up, but he is willing to roll the dice. Hovering his hand over Serengeti's pale face, he triggers the blessing of the stars. A system window immediately pops up with a red alert. His current star power is totally insufficient to permanently delete the Demon King's curse, but it manages to temporarily lift the cap. To the Marquis's absolute shock, Serengeti slowly blinks open her eyes, looking totally confused by the map she is in. The Lord rushes to her bedside, weeping openly as he asks if she recognizes him. But her eyes slide right past her father and lock directly onto the trembling man. Standing in the corner, Hudson steps into the light, his voice cracking as he apologizes for the lag in his arrival. The narration cuts to the casino boss's tragic grind set. He had always convinced himself that, as long as she was still breathing, there was a chance. His master plan was to secure a seat on the city council and return as a man finally worthy of the Marquis's respect, even knowing she had lost her legs. He was fully prepared to become her legs, but his capitalist optimism was ultimately just a massive dose of copium. While he was out grinding for political XP, her body was actively shutting down. If the protagonist hadn't physically dragged him here, today, Hudson would have missed the final cutscene entirely. The Marquis snaps out of his daze, demanding an ID on this crying stranger. Deciding to be the ultimate buzzkill, our boy completely stops the reunion cold. He bluntly informs the room that the Demon King's curse is only on pause, not broken. At best, she has a few days of uptime before she crashes back into a permanent coma. To actually cure her, he desperately needs to farm more star power. The protagonist crunches the numbers, realizing his only win condition is recovering the 5 specific stars his original character, Wilhelm, dropped on death thanks to his star inheritor class. Looting those artifacts unlocks critical memories from his past life. With 1 already secured, he has 4 left to hunt before a rival player snatches them up. Knowing he is on a brutal timer, our boy immediately kicks the Marquis and Hudson out of the room, demanding a private one-on-one with the patient. Out in the hallway, the Lord aggressively grills Hudson. The casino boss formally introduces himself, confirming his secret engagement to Serengeti and begging for a chance, flexing that he is on the verge of making the city council. The Marquis looks at him with heavy, bone-deep exhaustion. He explains that Hudson's political ambitions are completely useless currency now. The financial ruin caused by the Grand Expedition forced the Marquis to beg for external bailouts to keep his daughter on life support. The only whale who answered was Duke Lucian, a dangerously powerful noble, whose authority rivals the king himself. The Duke offered an astronomical loan to save the territory, but on one brutal condition: Serengeti is the collateral. Marquis took the deal to save his city and ensure his daughter wouldn't be abandoned without medical care. He drops the ultimate hammer on the devastated casino boss, revealing that in exactly 1 month, Serengeti gets shipped off to House Lucian, firmly ordering Hudson to delete her from his memory. Meanwhile, back inside the bedroom, Serengeti demands to know who the strange man standing over her is. Our boy confidently introduces himself as the official successor to the Night King Wilhelm, claiming he came to deliver news of her master's final logs. Serengeti absolutely refuses to buy it, fiercely declaring that Wilhelm had no successor. Our boy mentally praises his loyal knight for not falling for cheap scams, then decides to drop a lore bomb to prove his identity. He recounts a hyper-specific memory from the exact day she received her star. She had been absolutely terrified that absorbing the cosmic power and ascending would strip away her humanity, specifically fearing she would lose her deep love for Hudson. Serengeti is visibly shook, knowing that emotional breakdown was classified intel, strictly between her and Wilhelm. Our boy flashes a nostalgic smirk, reminding her exactly how he offered words of encouragement that day. His version of emotional support involved telling her to shut up and take the power right before physically Sparta kicking her off a cliff. The narration smooths over the sheer insanity of this memory. Back when he was just a gamer playing Pangea, that toxic interaction was literally just standard gameplay. It's literally just a macro hold. Control, tap a key, and the emote triggers automatically. But here is the glitch. His Star Inheritor class does not just boost stats. It downloads the original owner's life straight into his cortex once he maxes out Sword Mastery. So that basic keybind is not just code anymore, it is a 4K, ultra-realistic memory seared permanently into his gray matter, yeeting her off a cliff. To him, that feels like a visceral, lived experience. Serengeti clocks it immediately, that specific brand of borderline psychotic. Motivation is 100% Wilhelm. You cannot fake that level of toxic charisma. Accepting the reality, she drops the bomb. New face. Does that mean you are officially a sinner? He does not hesitate. Yup. The narration breaks it down. Sinners are players hijacking new bodies while keeping their old save files, and the system hates them. Elite NPC death squads, called hunters, are programmed to spawn camp these guys and delete them on sight. Serengeti tells him to watch his back, but our main character could not care less about the banhammer. He gets right in her face, dead serious, and declares he needs the receipts. He needs to know what went down in the endgame. In his head, he vividly remembers driving his steel straight into the Demon King's core, watching the boss turn to pixel dust. But right when the victory music should have played, the server froze, and he took a violent game over screen to the face. He demands the unvarnished truth from the only witness left on the server. From her sickbed, the exhausted knight locks eyes with the kid, but her vision blurs until she sees the towering, legendary silhouette of Wilhelm overlaying him. Cue the cinematic flashback to the Grand Demon World expedition. We are talking the biggest raid in history. Wilhelm leading 200,000 elite units straight into the abyss. Hype levels were off the charts. Everyone thought they were about to become server legends. Based on terabytes of data, they executed a strategy with zero RNG involved. Everything was mathematically scripted for perfection. But reality hit them like a freight train with no brakes. Cut to total wipeout, Bloodbath Central. A poison priest burns his last HP just to buff the vanguard. A knight missing an arm screams at his squad to leave him and push the lane. Troops are dropping like flies, screaming, "We cannot stop." But it is a meat grinder. They are getting slaughtered before they even reach the boss room. Then the horror sets in. The enemy is pre-firing every angle. There is a mole. Someone sold out the raid to the demons, turning the entire expedition into a suicide run. From minute 1, just when hope hits zero, Wilhelm drops in. The martial god slices through the despair like butter, casually telling the bleeding survivors, "Take 5, I will carry from here." His aura is so heavy the demon horde looks like level 1 mobs. With one casual swing, he violently reshapes the entire map, shattering the Doom vibes instantly. The camera zooms in on Wilhelm, piggybacking a wrecked Serengeti. She is trying to act tough, saying she can walk, but Wilhelm shuts her down. He tells her to save her stamina bar because she is a valuable asset, not a burden. He bluntly points out that, aside from the evacuees, they are the last 2 players standing in the entire army. His order? Survive. Go home. Then he drops a tease to lighten the mood, bringing up how she cried over that Hudson guy every single night. She goes full tomato red, denying the cringe allegations, but promises she will definitely come back for him. It is a wholesome moment until, boom, a massive violet AoE circle triggers right under their feet. Wilhelm reacts instantly, shoving Serengeti completely out of the kill zone. Smirking, "Man, this game is stuck on hard mode." He tells her to go live a good life, get hitched or whatever, and braces to tank the hit alone. Thrown to the safety of the dirt, Serengeti's mind races at 1,000,000 miles per hour. The raid has failed. She could dip right now. The Night King gave her a direct order to live. She could return to Hudson, and no one would flame her. But her loyalty stats are maxed out. She mentally apologizes. "Sorry, Hudson." She pops her ult, position swap. In a blinding flash, she forces a trade with Wilhelm, taking the full nuke to the face. That is the exact tragic moment she lost her legs. Snap back to the present. Bedroom, dim lights. Serengeti reveals she only tanked that hit and survived because Wilhelm had gifted her an SSR tier elixir. Our boy starts sweating mentally, remembering that back then, he was just spamming premium items for the cinematic flair, totally wasting them. She continues, stating Wilhelm immediately slapped an extreme vanishing talisman on her wrecked body, stealthing her from the Demon King. Because of that stealth buff, she was the sole, silent witness to how the world ended. Our boy leans in, he is desperate for the truth. She validates the flashback. Wilhelm absolutely wrecked the Demon King. But right when the battle hit its peak, Wilhelm glitched out like someone paused reality. The Demon King, barely clinging to 1 HP, started cackling at the frozen hero, hyping him up as a total beast for cornering a Hell Lord, while rocking 5 stars with 0 divine hacks. But the villain drops a truth bomb. Without that holy buff, his soul is basically immortal. So, as a twisted prize, the demon decides to ditch his own trash vessel and hijack Wilhelm's prime physique. But the second the download starts, a blinding holy nuke interrupts the transfer. The Demon King shrieks in pure rage, throwing major shade at Goddess Pina. He accuses the benevolent deity of straight-up executing her most loyal MVP just to keep her precious star power from getting swiped by a demon. He screams death threats, but gets muted instantly as Wilhelm's lifeless corpse ragdolls to the floor. Serenity drops her gaze, admitting her memory files are corrupted past that point. Wilhelm sits there, totally shook, his brain throwing a 404 error. The Demon King tried to steal his account, but it was actually Goddess Pina herself, who swung the ban hammer and game ended him. He's scrambling to process the betrayal, hiding behind his heroic sacrifice. But before we can digest this massive lore dump, we smash cut to the outer walls of Knight's Garden. 2 guards are salty as hell, roasting their terrible shift, crying about missing paychecks and the severe lack of backup, while the territory goes broke. But their rant session dies instantly when they spot a colossal, nightmare shadow looming on the horizon. Panic hits 100 as they scream that a catastrophic monster raid is officially breaching the city. Thanks for hanging out till the end, fam. If you vibed with this recap, smash that like button and tell me your favorite scene below. Catch you in the next one for more chaos. Peace out.